Audra's threatened relationship and top-secret plan on the young and the restless. When love and power collide, hidden secrets can lead to brutal deception and broken relationships on the young and the restless. One of the most stirring stories in Genoa City is the plot of Audra Charles, a clever and cunning character who threatens not only Kyle Abbott's career but also his love life. It all starts when Audra, with Victor Newman's tacit support, decides to put Kyle in a difficult position from which he will have no way out. A dangerous game in which there is no room for forgiveness, only punishment and revenge. The relationship is falling apart. Audra is an ambitious woman, and throughout the years, she has shown her wisdom and shrewdness in both her personal and professional relationships. However, things are changing with Kyle and Claire's relationship. Contrary to what Audra appears to be, she is planning a bold plan to push their relationship to the brink of collapse. She has a clear understanding of Kyle's weaknesses that only a few people in Genoa City can grasp, and she intends to take advantage of this. Neither Kyle nor Claire are aware of this dark plot. Under Victor's silent direction, Audra begins to carry out her plan, aiming to make Kyle make mistakes that he cannot fix. The scary thing is that Audra not only wants to destroy their relationship, but also create an irreparable situation. She wants Claire to believe that Kyle is untrustworthy, and if possible, she will make him push himself into an irreparable situation. Audra insists that she will not sleep with Kyle, but she can absolutely create a misunderstanding big enough to ruin everything. Victor and the secret conspiracies. Although Audra was the one who directly carried out the plan, it cannot be denied that Victor Newman was the one who manipulated everything behind the scenes. This scheme was not only related to personal feelings, but also a clever power strategy that Victor was implementing to weaken Kyle's influence in the Abbott family. Victor knew that if he could break the relationship between Kyle and Claire, it would be easier for him to control Kyle, and at the same time weaken Kyle's trust in his family. This could help Victor win Kyle over, or at least control what Kyle did in the future. Victor, as usual, did not want to appear directly in this plan. Instead, he empowered Audra, trusting in her ability to cause trouble and put Kyle in an irreversible situation. Audra and her complicated relationship with Nate Hastings. One of the notable elements in Audra's plan is her relationship with Nate Hastings. Despite having set a new direction for her career, Audra still wants to maintain her relationship with Nate. However, this is causing her to be more restrained and careful in her steps. Audra does not want Nate to know her true plot, because that would put her up against a dangerous enemy that she cannot control. Although Audra keeps her intentions a secret from Nate, every step she takes is creating cracks in their relationship. If Nate finds out, he will definitely not forgive her for what she has done, and thus, Audra will lose the protection that Nate provides. She knows that if she does not execute her plan skillfully, everything can collapse in an instant. Kyle and the angry punishment. When Kyle discovers Audra's plot, everything will change. He will not accept deception and betrayal from someone he once trusted. Not only will Kyle be shocked by Audra's actions, he will also feel angry, and these emotions will lead to drastic decisions. Kyle's punishment for Audra will be a heavy blow to Victor's scheme. Although Audra has calculated carefully, Kyle's relationship with Claire will be something she cannot destroy easily. What Audra does not anticipate is Kyle's determination to protect the people she loves. Although she can manipulate many things, Kyle's love and loyalty to Claire are not easily shaken. After discovering the truth, Kyle will not hesitate to confront Audra and clear things up. Despite Audra's cunning plans, true love will always find a way to protect itself. In the end, Kyle and Claire's relationship will be put to the ultimate test, but it is these challenges that will bring them closer together than ever. Audra may win a few battles, but the real battle has only just begun. As secrets are exposed and power struggles come to a head, everyone in Genoa City will face decisions that could change their lives. With Victor leading the way and Audra calculating, this story promises to be a tense and emotional battle of wits. But in the end, will love prevail over intrigue, or will Kyle pay the price for his mistakes? Complicated love and silent conspiracy. Audra's conspiracy in The Young and the Restless. In a world full of secrets, conspiracies, and betrayals, The Young and the Restless has had no shortage of dramatic battles of love and power. One of the relationships that has kept viewers watching is that between Kyle Abbott and Audra Charles. Although it is a new relationship, it has quickly become a dangerous, calculating game filled with deception. Audra, with her charm and sharp calculation, is trying to create a situation that Kyle cannot escape, a situation that could destroy everything Kyle has built, including his relationship with Claire. Audra's charm and the fine line between love and hate. Audra always knows how to use her charm to attract others to her side, especially influential people like Kyle. Although Kyle couldn't deny that he didn't like Audra at the moment, there was an ambiguous feeling between them, between love and hate, that blurred the lines. Audra wasn't the type to give up easily, and she knew that her charm could be an important factor in shaking Kyle's mind. Kyle and Audra's relationship was in a delicate phase, and although they might not be interested in each other at first, the connection gradually became inevitable. With her charm, Audra not only attracted Kyle's attention, but she also made him feel confused and hesitant. Although Kyle was aware of the warnings from those around him about Audra's danger, when he stood in front of her, he couldn't control his emotions. Audra knew that the line between love and hate was extremely thin, and this created an opportunity for her. As Kyle wavers and cannot completely deny Audra's attraction, she finds a way to infiltrate his life, creating a situation that Kyle will find difficult to escape. Audra begins to realize that this ambiguity is the key to her plan, a plan that will not only destroy Kyle's relationship with Claire, but also create deep internal tensions between the characters. The cheating plan and the rise of top-secret conspiracies. Audra is not a simple person. She knows that every decision must be carefully calculated, and for Kyle, she has prepared an elaborate cheating plan. Although the relationship between Kyle and Audra is still unclear, it seems that Audra knows how to create situations in which Kyle will be tempted. With the goal of destroying Kyle and Claire's relationship, Audra sets out on a plan that even Kyle could not have foreseen. Although she doesn't intend to take advantage of Kyle at first, the attraction and situations Audra creates will make it difficult for Kyle to resist. As the relationship between Audra and Kyle becomes ambiguous, a deception may occur, making Kyle mistakenly believe that everything is going on within the framework of a normal relationship. But the truth will be a betrayal that Kyle can never forgive. Audra is sure that she can destroy the relationship between Kyle and Claire by creating misunderstandings, while making Kyle feel drawn into ambiguous emotions. Audra does not hesitate to go the extra mile to achieve her goal, even using unorthodox tricks to break Kyle's trust in Claire. With calculated moves, Audra will create a situation in which Kyle will have no choice but to rush into a risky emotional battle. Victor Newman, the manipulator. Although Audra was the one who directly carried out the plan, it is impossible not to mention Victor Newman's role in this plot. As the manipulator behind the scenes, Victor wanted to control everything to make Kyle weaker in the power struggle. While Audra was the one who took the concrete steps to break Kyle's relationship, Victor was behind the scenes to make sure that everything went according to plan. Victor did not want to break Kyle and Claire's relationship himself, because he knew that if things were too obvious, things would not be easy to control. Instead, he assigned Audra to be the one to break this relationship, trusting in her ability to carry out the plan without being detected. Victor's goal was not only to weaken Kyle, but also to assert his power in the Abbott family. If this plan succeeds, Victor will get what he wants, complete control over Kyle and everything related to him. Kyle's anger will not stop at Audra, but will spread to others, especially Victor. Despite trying to manipulate everything from the shadows, when the truth is revealed, Victor will have to face Kyle's revenge. And not only that, the relationship between Kyle and Claire will become more tense than ever. This betrayal will push them to the edge of the end, but it can also be an opportunity for them to rebuild trust, if Kyle can overcome his anger. The end of Kyle and Audra's relationship, a hard choice with the tense situations going on. The big question is what Kyle will do after discovering the truth about Audra and her plan. Their relationship may be a big betrayal, but is there still a chance for them to fix things? Or will Kyle have to face his anger and make decisions that can change his life forever? Whether this betrayal ultimately leads to the end of Kyle and Audra's relationship, or whether they find a way to rebuild trust, their story is sure to leave a lasting impression on viewers. Anything is possible in the world of The Young and the Restless. and Kyle and Audra's relationship is just one of the many dramatic storylines we can look forward to in the coming episodes. Power and romance. Audra's plan and Summer's unexpected support in the world of intrigue and betrayal on the young and the restless. Characters not only face personal challenges but are also drawn into fierce power struggles. One of the most recent storylines to hit the headlines is that of Kyle Abbott and Audra Charles, which is taken to new heights as Victor Newman and Audra's machinations begin to unfold. These battles are not just a battle between the Abbott and Victor families, but also an emotional one, where the characters' betrayals and loyalties will be tested to the core. As things escalate, Summer Newman, who has had a tumultuous relationship with Kyle in the past, will step into the fray to help him fight against the machinations of her grandfather, Victor Newman. The complicated relationship between Kyle and Audra Charles is a woman who does not give up easily, and she is preparing to execute an elaborate plan to lure Kyle Abbott into a risky situation. Although Kyle does not initially have a special liking for Audra, her charm and the dramatic situations she creates gradually confuse Kyle. Audra not only wants to lure Kyle but also intends to sabotage his relationship with Claire, making their relationship unstable and vulnerable. Audra knows that keeping a distance from Kyle is not a long-term option, as she needs to create situations that will make him face his conflicting emotions. Although Audra's plan may be a hoax, her charm is a powerful factor that Kyle finds difficult to control. Kyle will be pushed into a situation he could not have foreseen, where love, trust, and loyalty will all be tested. Things get even more tense when Kyle discovers that Audra is working under the direction of Victor, a person with whom he has had many conflicts in the past. What Victor is manipulating will make Kyle face difficult decisions, and when the truth is revealed, his rage will be inevitable. Victor Newman. The man behind the manipulation, Victor Newman, is not someone who gives up easily when he has a goal. This time, he chooses Audra as a tool to destroy the relationship between Kyle and Claire. With a clever strategy, Victor controls every situation without having to appear directly. He believes that if he can make Kyle separate from Claire, he will easily control everything and the Abbott family will become a pawn in his hands. Victor's plan is not just a power struggle within the Abbott family, but also a long-term game to assert his position in the business world. Although Audra is the one who directly executes the plan, Victor is the one who directs it, making sure that every step Audra takes is on track. The relationship between Victor and Audra becomes even more complicated when Audra not only has to keep secrets from Nate Hastings but also has to deal with situations that could expose everything. Although Audra believes she can control the situation, outside factors, especially the interference of Kyle and Summer, can cause Victor's plan to go awry. Summer and Kyle's unexpected decision to support Kyle. Although Summer and Kyle have had conflicts in the past, when faced with the danger Kyle may face in Victor and Audra's plot, Summer cannot stand by and watch him be destroyed. Despite having been hurt by Kyle's actions, Summer cannot let her grandfather destroy everything Kyle has built. This leads Summer to make a bold decision: she will help Kyle expose Victor's plot. Summer knows that this is an extremely difficult task. Not only will she have to confront her grandfather, but she will also have to deal with Kyle, with whom she has had a tumultuous relationship. But Summer cannot ignore what Victor is doing, and she is willing to help Kyle fight this conspiracy despite their relationship having gone through many challenges. She will find a way to approach Victor and Audra, looking for evidence to expose the truth. Summer knows that if she does not act in time, Kyle may fall into Victor's hands, and his relationship with Claire will be broken forever. To do this, she will have to face difficult decisions and may be drawn into situations beyond her control. However, Summer understands that this is the only chance to save Kyle from Victor's hands. Kyle and his rage when the truth is revealed. When the truth about Audra and Victor's plot is revealed, Kyle will not be able to contain his anger. Although he has treated Summer badly, when he sees Victor and Audra's plan, he realizes that he cannot stand by and watch this betrayal happen without taking action. Kyle will not only confront Audra, but also seek revenge on Victor, who manipulated everything from behind the scenes. Kyle knows that if the relationship between him and Claire is broken, everything he has built in the Abbott family will be meaningless. Therefore, he will plan his revenge, aiming not only to make Audra pay, but also to expose Victor's plot. However, this will not be easy, because Victor is an extremely powerful opponent and always knows how to manipulate every situation to his advantage. Kyle's rage will not stop at Audra. When Kyle discovers that Victor has become too involved in his life, he will do everything he can to hold him accountable. Victor's plan was made in advance, but Kyle will fight to thwart it. The final battle for power and love in the world of the young and the restless, nothing is certain. Every decision Kyle and Summer make will have far-reaching implications for their relationship with Claire, as well as the power struggle within the Abbott household. As the plot unravels, will Kyle be able to regain control, protect his relationship, and exact revenge on his betrayers, or will he be drawn into a war he can't escape? Summer will face difficult decisions as she tries to help Kyle and expose Victor's plot. Her relationship with Kyle will be put to the test, but will they be able to overcome it together? The dramatic plot will continue to develop, and each step of the characters will lead them to an outcome that no one can predict. No matter how things turn out in the end, the audience can be sure that this battle between love and power will continue to be full of challenges and surprises. The battle of love and power, the complicated relationship between Kyle and Audra in The Young and the Restless. On The Young and the Restless, relationships are always dominated by strong emotions, dark intrigue, and unexpected betrayals. One of the stories that is attracting the attention of the audience right now is the tense struggle between Kyle Abbott and Audra Charles, complex characters with not-so-simple goals. Driven by ambition and charm, Audra is building an elaborate plan to lure Kyle into a situation from which he cannot escape. Although Kyle seems to dislike Audra at first, her charm makes him rethink his emotional boundaries. But things are not that simple. Behind Audra's charm, there are calculated intrigues, and Kyle is not the only one affected. Both Audra and Victor Newman are involved in a complicated power play, and if everything is exposed, the consequences will be extremely serious. Kyle's relationship with Claire will face great challenges, and may be completely destroyed. Audra and the ambiguous relationship with Kyle. From the beginning, Audra knows how to make a strong impression on Kyle. Although he does not like her, Audra's charm is undeniable. She knows that, to achieve her goals, she needs not only intelligence but also the ability to create complicated situations that the other party cannot refuse. Audra clearly feels that there is an extremely thin line between love and hate. She believes that if Kyle falls into an ambiguous situation, he will start to rethink what he feels. Audra's sophisticated plan. Audra was not someone who just stood by and did nothing. She had a detailed plan to destroy the relationship between Kyle and Claire. From small actions, she began to sneakily drag Kyle into dangerous and unpredictable situations. This would cause Kyle to be caught in an emotional trap that she had arranged in advance. While Audra's goal may have been simply to sabotage Kyle and Claire's relationship, with Victor's warnings of her involvement, Audra saw a great opportunity to carry out her plan. She knew that in order to accomplish this goal, she needed to keep her true intentions hidden from Nate Hastings, with whom she was in a relationship. Audra's persistence in pursuing her plan, coupled with her continued relationship with Nate, created a complicated situation for her to face. Although Nate did not know what Audra was doing, if he found out, she would lose everything she had built. The first step in Audra's plan was to create situations that would draw Kyle in, forcing him to interact more with her, not only in work but also in private situations. As Audra and Kyle's relationship became ambiguous, what happened next could be beyond both of their control. Audra will stop at nothing to trap Kyle into her trap. Although Kyle always stands his ground, Audra's charm seems to be unable to completely ignore him. Kyle's wavering feelings grew as he became more and more aware of Audra's attraction, but he was confused by the warnings from those around him. The warnings from Claire and others made Kyle more suspicious and had a hard time defining the relationship. Audra, with her subtlety, slipped through the lines and pushed Kyle into a situation where he had to face emotions he couldn't explain.